based on what you've learned, can you explain why Zach's hair is dark like his mother's and not blonde like his father's? So the most basic thing here is that the dark hair is dominant. And since that dark hair is dominant, that is what is going to show up most likely in the offspring. All right, number 2, what is the difference between a pure tall plant and a hybrid tall plant? So say that we had a capital T, which indicated tall, and a lowercase t that indicated short. So a hybrid tall plant is going to have one of each allele, like this, capital, lowercase. And a pure tall plant is only going to have the dominant alleles for tall. So 2 capital letters like that. Go ahead and pause this video and check your answers and move on to the next page when you're ready. All right, here we have some vocabulary. Hopefully you knew this off the top of your head, but if you had to use your notes, that's fine, as long as you know the vocabulary now. So the gene that always shows itself is called the dominant gene. All short pea plants have 2 recessive genes. An organism with 2 like genes is called pure for that trait. Each trait an organism has is determined by 1 gene from each parent. Most cells in our bodies have 2 alleles for every trait. The hidden gene that does not show up is the recessive gene. An organism with 2 alleles that are exactly the same for each trait is called purebred or homozygous. And technically you could put homozygous on number 3 if you wanted to. And an organism with 2 different alleles for a trait is called hybrid or heterozygous. All right, go ahead and check your answers on this page, and when you're done, go to the next one. All right, so we are going to indicate the phenotype for each of these genotypes. So if purple flowers are dominant, that means the capital P's are purple and the lowercase p's are white. So since this one has a capital P, it's going to be purple. This one has a capital P, it's going to be purple. This one in the middle, though, it only has 2 lowercase p's, so it's going to be white. All right, hairy knuckles are dominant to non-hairy knuckles. So the capital H is for hairy knuckles, and the lowercase h is for non-hairy knuckles. So the ones with capital letters are going to have hairy knuckles. And the ones with only lowercase letters is going to be non-hairy. Now please remember that the only time a recessive trait can show up is when it's got 2 recessive alleles. Okay, that's why even though capital H lowercase h and capital P lowercase p, even though they have lowercase p's in them and lowercase h's in them, they are hidden by the dominant gene. Okay. All right, bobtails in cats are recessive, normal tails are dominant. So since normal tails are dominant, that's going to be the capital N. So any with a capital N are going to have normal tails. Now notice that they did it backwards on this one. They talked about what was recessive first, and that's basically just to see if you were paying attention. Usually we talk about dominant first, but that's not always the case. So you got to be sure that you pay attention. And then lowercase n is going to be the bobtail. because there are 2 recessive alleles there. Okay. Smooth seeds are dominant to wrinkled seeds. So smooth seeds are dominant, so that's the capital letter. So any of these with the capital letter are going to be dominant. The 2 lowercase r's are going to be the recessive gene, which is wrinkled. And on this last part, we are given some genotypes and we have to classify it. Is it homozygous dominant, heterozygous, or homozygous recessive? Now, most of the time when we talk about homozygous, we don't put dominant or recessive after it, but just to be clear on this, homozygous dominant is going to be 2 capital letters. Homozygous recessive is going to be 2 lowercase letters, and heterozygous is going to be 1 of each. Okay, I'll write that over to the side. Homozygous dominant is going to be 2 capital. Homozygous recessive is going to be 2 lowercase, and heterozygous is going to be 1 of each. Okay, so we're going to go through and classify these. Oh, and they actually used A's in the example for some of these, so you have the answer right over here. So capital, homozygous dominant. Capital lowercase, that's heterozygous. Capital lowercase, heterozygous. Lowercase, it's homozygous recessive. Capital lowercase, that's heterozygous. Lowercase capital, heterozygous. Lowercase, homozygous recessive. Capital, homozygous dominant. Capital, homozygous dominant. Capital lowercase, heterozygous. Lowercase, homozygous recessive. And lowercase, homozygous recessive.